Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Baker, Executive Director of SCBWI. Welcome to our annual Golden Kite Awards show. I'm so happy you're here with us to celebrate these wonderful books by wonderful SCBWI members. SCBWI has been awarding the Golden Kites since 1973, and we're so excited and grateful to be continuing that tradition today. We love celebrating our members, and we love celebrating great books for young people. And we love bringing the children's book community together. And that's what we're going to do here today. Don't forget that all the books by the finalists, the honor recipients, and the winners are available in SCBWI's bookshop.org site. And I hope to see many of you tomorrow at our virtual winter conference. And now to host the Golden Kites, let's welcome children's book author and SCBWI Advisory Council member, Bonnie Bader.
Hi, everyone. As Sarah said, I'm Bonnie Bader. I'm also the coordinator of the Golden Kite Awards. And like Sarah, I'd like to welcome you to our third virtual Golden Kite Awards Gala. This year, we are thrilled to present the Sid Fleischman Honor Award winners and finalists alongside the Golden Kite Awards. For both awards, the honoree will receive $500 and an additional $250 to donate to a nonprofit organization of their choice. And each winner will receive $2,500 and an additional $1,000 to donate. To start things off, I would like to introduce Sarah Diamond, who will present the Sid Fleischman Humor Awards. Sarah oversees SCBWI's numerous awards and grant programs, developing scholarships and grant opportunities for the Kidlit community. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, I'm Sarah Diamond. I'm SCBWI's Associate Director of Digital Content and Awards, and I'm absolutely honored to be presenting the Sid Fleischman Award for Humor. This year's nominees are absolutely packed with wit and humor and comedy and fun, which is often the quickest way to a young reader's heart. The nominees are To Catch a Thief by Martha Brokenbrough, which is a quirky, delightful middle grade mystery that unfolds when a quiet 11-year-old must become a detective to save her town from a thief. Fenway and the Loudmouth Bird, written by Victoria Coe, illustrated by Joanne Lou Freithoff. This is the third book in the Make Way for Fenway series, featuring an irresistible dog with a huge personality that readers cannot help but adore. Flat Cat, written by Tara Lazar, illustrated by Pete Oswald. When Flat Cat lands in the washing machine, then the dryer, hilarity ensues in this highly entertaining picture book. The Great Vandal Scandal, written by Emily Ecton, illustrated by David Mottram. This is the third book in the Great Pet Heist series, a charming adventure mystery starring a lineup of eccentric pets who will steal your heart just as they make you laugh. And finally, A Snow Day for Plum, written and illustrated by Matt Phelan. In this page-turning sequel to Leave It to Plum, Plum is an adorable peacock who gets stranded with his friends from the zoo at an elementary school when an unexpected snowstorm causes havoc. And I'm excited to announce that the honor winner of the Sid Fleischman Award is Fenway and the Loudmouth Bird by Victoria Coe. Fenway's story is filled with heart and humor and is the consummate read-aloud book. Victoria will be giving her charitable award to Read to Them, an organization that believes the power of reading aloud together can build connections across families, schools, and communities to cultivate students' learning and success. And now for the Golden Kite Sid Fleischman Award winner. The winner is Martha Brokenbrough for To Catch a Thief. The judges called this winning book the perfect middle grade read, a page turner, relatable, laugh out loud funny, and a suspenseful mystery that engages readers with the perfect balance of humor and heart. Martha will donate her charitable award to We Need Diverse Books, a nonprofit that advocates essential changes in the publishing industry to produce and promote literature that reflects and honors the lives of all young people. It is my pleasure to welcome Martha to the screen to say a few words.
I am in shock because as you were reading the names of my fellow nominees, I thought there's no way my book could win. And so I'm absolutely gobsmacked and grateful. And there are so many people that I'd like to thank for this honor. But first, I want to start with someone for whom I have no thanks. This is for the editor who once sent me a rejection that said, Martha is not as funny as she thinks she is. And in fairness, this is probably true. But here's the thing. I can't remember the editor's name and I remember mine. So who's laughing now? Here's the funny thing. I did not set out to write a funny book. I set out to write one that had everything I loved in it as a child: a cozy setting, a loving family, a mystery, and a great dog. For good measure, I also threw in a hairless cat and some jokes about cheese sticks. Thank you for finding the things that I love to be funny. I am grateful to SCBWI for my career, for Arthur Levine for helping discover me, and to the Sid Fleischman Committee for this honor, for my agent, Jennifer Lofgren, who told me to make this book shorter, for my editor, Jody Corbett, who told me to make it longer. I'm grateful to all of my friends who read drafts: Alana, Jolie, Anne, everybody, you know who you are. I have a coven, I have a guild of friends. For my husband, Adam, our daughters, Lucy and Alice, and for all the dogs I've ever loved, especially Millie, who is the absolute worst and who I love the absolute most. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Martha and Victoria. And now to our Golden Kite presentations, where we will give awards in 7 categories. Each category has 5 finalists, and today we are not only thrilled to have most of our finalists here with us live, but also to have some of our amazing Golden Kite judges as presenters. To present our first award, the Golden Kite Award for Picture Book Text, we have all 3 judges in this category with us. Sandra Nickel is an award-winning author who writes picture books for kids, stories about unexpected friends, women who did the impossible, people who are almost forgotten, and ideas that are too complicated until she finds the right way to tell them. Randall Day Sev is an award-winning author whose happy childhood was filled with creative play and flights of fancy. Writing picture books is her attempt at capturing that spirit and passing it on. And our third presenter in this category is Alicia D. Williams, another award-winning author. We only have the best judges, whose books offer understanding, empathy, hope, and inspiration. Welcome, Sandra, Randall, and Alicia.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. We want to start off by saying to all you picture book authors, bravo. We read nearly 400 of your books, and it was just an honor to be immersed in your worlds and your imaginations. To say that you made it hard on us is an understatement, because you really made it very hard on us. So it's with great pleasure that we introduced you to the 5 finalists for the Golden Kite for Picture Book Text. The first is Hello, Mr. Blue, written and illustrated by Daria Peoples, published by Green Willow Books. In Hello, Mr. Blue, Daria invites us into the world of a girl, her papa, and her papa's friend, Mr. Blue. What is so beautiful about this story is Daria's vibrant details, the creamy, sweet coffee, and the way Mr. Blue is a working man, a moving man, a get-up-and-go kind of brother. But it's also a story about what to do once you really notice someone. And that's important, because children always do notice, don't they? Our second finalist is Nell Plants a Tree, written by Anne Winter, illustrated by Daniel Miyares, published by Balzer and Bray. In Nell Plants a Tree, Anne weaves a story through both time and generations. It has this quality of universality to it, and it is pure music to the ear. Each time you read this story, it grows more and more within you, just like the family and tree at its heart. The story is comforting, on the upbeat, and celebrates nature, family, wonder, and also just being a kid. Alicia is going to continue. Alicia.
Our third finalist is Salat in Secret, written by Jamila Tompkins Bigelow, illustrated by Hatim Alai, published by Random House Studio. In Salat in Secret, Jamila creates a story about being yourself in public, about joy and reaching a milestone, and how bravery may be needed to bring something deeply important to you out into the world. What is more, Jamila does this all through the very sure lens of a child who is brave, yes, but also scared and ultimately very wise. As Jamila says through her protagonist, bravery sometimes comes with shaking. Our fourth finalist is Spanish is the Language of My Family, written by Michael Ginhart, illustrated by John Pera, published by Neil Porter Books. In Spanish is the Language of My Family, Michael interweaves spelling, English, and Spanish and the history of Spanish being forbidden in schools, and the importance of that history to a child living today. All these different layers are finally crafted, and through them, Michael shows that language is identity. It's who we are. And it is one of the lovely ribbons that ties generations together. And our fifth and last finalist is The Walk, written by Winsome Bingham, illustrated by E.B. Lewis, published by Abrams Books for Young Readers. In The Walk, Winsome does something remarkable. She parallels the pacing of her story to the walk that is its subject. And with each step, she builds friendships, a community, and a mystery of where the walk is taking us. Now, we won't tell you where the walk ends, but we will say that this story has power and positivity and purpose. Randall will now present the honor and the winner. Randall?
Thank you, Alicia. We are so thrilled to announce that the Honor Award for the Golden Kite picture book text goes to Jamila Tompkins Bigelow for Salat in Secret. And now we are honored to announce that the Golden Kite Award winner for picture book text goes to Anne Winter for Nell Plants a Tree. Before we turn things over to you, Anne, since this is the award for picture book text, we would like to read the opening lines of your extraordinarily beautiful book. Before a grip on a branch, and a fall to the ground, and a scrape, and a leap, and a reach for the top, before anyone finds out how high they can climb, Nell picks up a seed. Congratulations, Anne.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you to SCBWI and thank you to the judges. I'm glad I wrote a speech down. This is a huge honor and I'm just really grateful for this award. And also congratulations to my fellow nominees, Daria, Jamila, Michael, and Winsome, whose books are all beautiful and extraordinary. Of all my books that I've written, Nell Plants a Tree was by far the hardest to write. I wrote hundreds of drafts of this story. About 27% were decent, 38% were bad, and 34.5% made me question whether I should stop being a writer altogether. In other words, this book could have easily never existed, but it does exist, and that is thanks to so many people and organizations. So I'd like to take some time to thank them. First, I have to thank my editor, Donna Bray. Today is actually her last day at HarperCollins, and yet just a couple hours ago, she was still emailing me with editorial questions for an upcoming book. And that's not surprising at all because she cares so deeply about the book she works on. But I especially want to thank her for being so enthusiastic about my first book, Everybody in the Red Brick Building, and offering me a 2-book deal that made me immediately start panicking about writing that second picture book. And thank you to my brilliant agent, Stephen Mock, who is incredibly open and honest and told me after that 2-book deal that Donna's going to expect a book that's just as good or better than Everybody in the Red Brick Building. Those words hurtled me even deeper into panic and echoed in my brain for the next 9 or so months. Thank you to the Writing Barn for introducing me to many of my amazing, beloved, talented critique partners, and for offering a 6-month writing course that I thought would definitely give me enough time to conceive of, write, and completely finish my second picture book. I was completely wrong about that, but the class was amazing and so helpful, and it helped me get about 42% of the way there. And speaking of that, thank you to Diane White, who was my teacher for that Writing Barn course. She responded kindly and wisely, and she was just wonderful with those earliest and most unwieldy drafts of the book. Thank you, of course, to SCBWI, which I joined the same year that I wrote Nail Plants a Tree, and which has given me support and community ever since. And of course, thank you to the talented Daniel Miares, who took the threads of this text and created a tapestry that was more intricate and beautiful than anything I could have imagined. While I was writing the many, many drafts of Nail Plants a Tree, I stayed up way too late and woke up way too early trying to inch my way closer to a finished manuscript. So I want to give a huge thanks to my 2 children, who were 2 and 4 at that year that I wrote it, and that had by that time trained me to function on very limited sleep. And thank you to my husband, who smiled and nodded and maintained an unflagging belief in me as my drafts went from bad to decent to finally good. And thank you to Birdall Pecans, the roadside store that I always pass on my drives between Austin and Houston. They have a gargantuan scrolling marquee, the biggest I've ever seen, that visually hollers, "Pecans, nuts, pecans," as you drive by. And this has undoubtedly wormed its way into my brain over the years until I had no choice but to write a book featuring pecans. And also thank you to them for making great pecan pie. And finally, thank you to the Newsom family. This idea was born from my memories of pecan trees and family gatherings at my grandparents' house. When I visit schools, sometimes I ask what a tree needs in order to grow big and strong. The students say soil, they say trees need water, they say trees need sunlight. But even though it's right there in the title of the book, there's something that we tend to forget to name in that list. We forget to name Nell. Nell's knowledge and care helped nurture the seed at every step along the way until it grew into a majestic tree. In the same way, it's easy to believe that great books, like all the titles you're seeing today, that they simply come from talent, hard work, and experience. And it's easy to forget about all the nurturing hands along the way. The publishing experts, the teachers, the roadside nut store with the giant sign, the friends, the family. Thank you to all the nurturing hands that helped Nell to exist. And thank you again to SCBWI for this wonderful honor.
Congratulations again, Anne, and to Jamila. Now to present the Golden Kite Award for Picture Book Illustration, I'd like to introduce 2 of the 3 judges for this category. Ashley Evans is an award-winning artist who was born and raised in Queens, New York, also my hometown. Growing up in one of the most influential art capitals of the world is a big part of her identity and plays a large role in her perspective as an artist. Aqua Holmes also draws from her experience growing up, not in Queens, but in Roxbury, Massachusetts. Aqua has received many awards, including a Caldecott Honor and the Coretta Scott King Award. Welcome, Ashley and Aqua.
Hey guys, it's nice to be
Thank
here.
you for having us.
Yes.
We'll bring greetings from Jason Chin as well, who couldn't be here with us but wanted to. And we worked very well together. We enjoyed the experience of reading and looking at the illustrations of so many books together. And it's a joy to be here this evening to talk about the finalists and the winners. So I'm going to start by talking about our first finalist, which is Big, written and illustrated by Vashti Harrison and published by Little Brown Books for Young Readers. Big draws you in immediately with its bold cover design and then takes us on an emotional, ride with a girl who finds she is perfect just as she is. Using the page in exciting new ways, the illustrator adds impact and meaning to the story.
Our next book is Can You Hug a Forest? Illustrated by Amy Hevern and written by Frances Gilbert and published by Beach Lane Books. Can You Hug a Forest has endearing illustrations painted on actual wood that celebrate a love for the natural world.
Our next finalist is Jumper. Who knew that the life of a spider could be so intriguing? In this book, Jumper, A Day in the Life of a Backyard Jumping Spider, illustrated and written by Jessica Lannon, published by Roaring Brook Press, we get to know Jumper's world. The illustrator uses unique and surprising ways of expressing sound, sight, and movement on the page and shows us that science begins with questions.
And the next finalist is Nell Plants a Tree, illustrated by Daniel Miares and written by Ann Winter, published by Balzer and Bray. Nell Plants a Tree has beautiful illustrations that show past and present flowing together through a tree and what it means to a family over the years.
And our final honoree or finalist is Simon and the Better Bone, illustrated and written by Corey R. Tabor and published by Balzer and Bray. In this book, with unique page layouts and sweet, delightful illustrations, we learn that reflections are not always what they seem.
And the honor award for picture book illustration goes to Jumper, A Day in the Life of a Backyard Jumping Spider. Jessica will give her charitable award to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, whose mission is to support efforts that demand a change of conditions that lead to domestic violence, such as patriarchy, privilege, racism, sexism, and classism.
And now, drum roll, for the winner of the Picture Book Illustration Award is Big, written and illustrated by Vashti Harrison. She will give her charitable award to an Open Book Foundation, an organization that connects Washington, D.C. area students with authors, illustrators, and their books to nurture a lifelong love of reading. Congratulations to all of the honorees and to the winners.
This is incredible. Thank you all so much. Thank you to SCBWI. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to the incredible artists in this category, Jessica, Daniel, Corey, Amy. It means so much to be recognized alongside you. I love your work and I'm regularly inspired to push myself and challenge myself when I see beautiful work like yours. Illustration was not something I studied formally. So I always feel like there are more things to learn. And I'll probably always carry a little bit of imposter syndrome with me, or a lot of imposter syndrome with me, but SCBWI and the artists it brings together will always feel like a place where I can learn and grow as an artist. When I was trying to find myself as an artist after I got laid off from my job in 2016, I joined SCBWI. I tried to push past my fears of following a creative goal, creative path, and put my work out there. It was an SCBWI Draw This competition challenge that changed everything for me. June 2016, I opened my email to read the SCBW Insight newsletter and found my art was selected as that month's winner. I felt so validated and affirmed and supported by this organization that thought that my work was good enough. Maybe that meant that I was on the right path. The next day, I got an email from an art director who had seen my art in the newsletter and asked me if I wanted to illustrate a book. And that was the first step in a journey that's led me places I never, ever dared dream. Thank you for the continued validation and support and for believing in me from day one. Thank you to the incredible people at Little Brown Books for Young Readers who helped make this book come to life. Special thanks to art director Dave Kaplan, who I've worked on with many books. Dave makes sure the art sings on every page of every book he works on, and Big was a huge challenge to get just right, and I'm grateful to have had his guidance. Thank you so much to Farron Jacobs my incredible, talented, super smart editor who helped me write and rewrite the words to marry and support the illustrations. From color and font choices, we noodled over how every word and every creative choice mattered to tell this story properly. And thank you to my amazing agent, Carrie Hannigan, who I met at an SCBWI conference and who has championed my work and guided me through this incredible career. Thank you all again. While I wish that we could have all been together in person, I wore my gold to honor the gold that we always wear at the Golden Kite Gala. So thank you again, and I'm so honored.
Congratulations again, Vashti, and also congratulations to Jessica. Now I'd like to introduce the presenters for the Golden Kite Awards for nonfiction text for younger readers and nonfiction text for older readers. Award-winning author and one of the judges for this category, Dinah Johnson, started writing poetry in 6th grade and hasn't stopped. Dinah is also a literary historian and an English professor at the University of South Carolina, where her work has helped document the history of African American children's literature. Our second presenter and judge, Colleen Poth, has been making up stories since she was 5 years old. And after an old dusty story about a lizard won a prize in a contest, Colleen was determined to become a full-fledged author, and she did. Her first book, The Great Stink, won a Golden Kite Award in 2022. Welcome, Dinah and Colleen.
Thank you, Bonnie. And thank you to all of SCBWI's nonfiction authors for your incredible work. It was such a thrill and an honor to be immersed in your stories for this past year. The finalists for the Golden Kite Award for nonfiction text for younger readers are Lisa Rogers for Beautiful Noise, the music of John Cage, illustrated by Il-sung Na and published by Anne Schwartz Books. Lisa's text draws readers directly into the world of avant-garde composer John Cage, for whom any sound could be music. Speaking directly to the reader, she writes, "What if you knew that this music was unique, that this music was important, and that any noise could be beautiful? And you knew that loving all sounds, except the refrigerator's hum, but you were trying to love that too, and sharing them made the world more joyful. Then you'd be like John Cage." Also nominated is Alyssa Boxer for Hidden Hope, How a Joy and a Hero Saved Lives During the Holocaust, illustrated by Amy June Bates and published by Abrams Books for Young Readers. Alyssa's powerful page-turner tells the story of Judith Geller, a Jewish member of the French resistance who risked her life smuggling fake identity papers to Jewish people scheduled to be arrested by the Nazis. She hid these life-saving papers in a joy. After all, Alyssa writes, who would suspect that a wooden duck with an orange beak and wheels and wings had a secret, a hidden compartment, hope in a hollow. Also nominated is Angela Burke Kunkel for Make Way, the story of Robert McCloskey, Nancy Shern, and some very famous ducklings, illustrated by Claire Keane and published by Random House Studio. Angela's parallel stories have author-illustrator Robert McCloskey and sculptor Nancy Shern, who brought McCloskey's ducks to life as sculptures in the Boston Public Gardens, seamlessly weaves two biographies into a tale that stretches across decades and ends, as Angela writes, in the garden in Boston. The ducks are always there, always walking to their pond, where night will always fall, and they will swim to their little island and go to sleep. Also nominated is Lisa Varshul-Perron for Patterns Everywhere, published by Millbrook Press. Lisa's layered text combines gentle rhyming with clear, informative explanations of the many places that patterns emerge in our world. She begins the book with an invitation. Step outside, let's find designs, branching, cracking, spirals, lines. Search the earth, the seas, the air. Patterns, patterns everywhere. Also nominated is Michelle Margell for Tomfoolery, Randolph Caldecott and the Rambunctious Coming of Age of Children's Books, illustrated by Barbara McClintock and published by Chronicle Books. Michelle's lively text practically leaps off the page. When she writes about Caldecott's first foray into picture book illustrations, we feel the movement of his pen in her words as she writes, "Tally-ho, a rat darts across the storehouse, pops up in the floorboards, jumps upon a pot. A cat crouches, a cow charges. No frilly lines, no fussy backgrounds, no crowded pages. Scene by scene, the story tumbles forth like life." And the Golden Kite Honor Award for nonfiction text for younger readers goes to Lisa Rogers for Beautiful Noise, the music of John Cage. And now the Golden Kite Award for nonfiction text for younger readers goes to Michelle Margell for Tomfoolery, Randolph Caldecott and the Rambunctious Coming of Age of Children's Books. Michelle will give her charitable donation to the Andrew Goodman Foundation, which supports youth leadership, development, voting accessibility, and social justice initiatives on campuses across the country, with many grants to select institutions of higher learning and other financial assistance to students. Congratulations, Michelle. Will you please say a few words?
I couldn't have done this on my own. None of us can do this on our own. First of all, I would like to thank my agent, Anna Olswanger, who thought of sending this to Chronicle Books. I need to thank everybody at Chronicle, Melissa Manlove, who did such hard work on editing. This did go through lots of revisions. I must let you know that. I want to thank Barbara McClintock, who just brought so much joy and verve and liveliness. And she was just exactly what I wanted. I mean, she just realized what I was hoping for. I would like, of course, to thank SCWI that has always been such an amazing help in my writing career, starting from the very beginning years and years ago. They introduced me to the writing community and inspired me and educated me. And I'm so grateful that they are recognizing how important nonfiction is. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, in this time of disinformation, we need truth more than ever. Truth is a beautiful, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. It's such an important thing and an essential thing. And nonfiction can help kids understand about, the universe and the earth and how we need to protect it, and all the human beings who have who have helped, make this a better place with their achievements and their perseverance. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. This is just so exciting. And the truth is that Randolph Caldecott was an amazing, handsome, witty, charming guy. And I had so much fun going back to Victorian England and spending time with him and learning. And that's something that I love so much about writing nonfiction, is that you're always learning. I also would like to thank all the nonfiction writers who have inspired me to do the best that I can. And again, I'd like to thank the other nominees in this category. You're included in that. Thank you to the judges who made this possible. I'm just so deeply honored. Thank you so much. This means so much to me.
So hello, everybody. I am very honored to present the finalists for the Golden Kite Award for nonfiction text for older readers. Accountable is extraordinary in its thorough exploration of the power of social media and how the ways in which we use it affected the lives of real people. There's no doubt that the stories and testimonies shared in these pages by Dashka Slater will prove unforgettable and transformative for readers. Cities, How Humans Live Together, is the product of expansive, meticulous research reflected in the extensive back matter. Author and illustrator bring the topic to life through their perfectly paired text and images. The powerful question posed near the end of the book is, if you could design a city that would be good for both people and the planet and treat all residents equitably, what would it look like? An important question indeed. Our third nominee is A Long Time Coming by Ray Anthony Shepard. A Long Time Coming, a lyrical biography of race in America from Ona Judge to Barack Obama, is ambitious, historically significant, and conceptually original, written in what Ray Anthony Shepard calls story poems. Accented by Gregory Christie's spare, evocative black and white illustrations, in the author's words, the value of this work is that it reveals the natural and universal desire for fairness. The 21, the true story of the youth who sued the US government over climate change by Elizabeth Rush. There is arguably no topic more palpable or pressing than this. The book is a compelling, inspiring message to young people that it is possible to use their collective power to lead the way into a sustainable future. What's a germ, Joseph Lister? The medical mystery that forever changed the way we heal. This book offers readers of every age an engrossing, engaging, accessible slice of the history of public health that speaks to the present era of COVID. Both text and art impart important information with humor, historical perspective, and clarity. The honor award goes to Accountable, the true story of a racist social media account and the teenagers whose lives it changed. And Dashka Slater's charitable award will go to the National Black Women's Justice Institute, an organization that researches, elevates, and educates the public about innovative, community-led solutions to address the criminalization of Black women and girls. Congratulations. The winner of the award for the nonfiction text for older winners goes to The 21 by Elizabeth Rush. She will give her charitable award to Our Children's Trust, a nonprofit public interest law firm that provides strategic, campaign-based legal services to youth from diverse backgrounds to secure their legal rights to a safe climate. Congratulations.
I am so surprised. The finalists in this category are just outstanding, and I hope that you read them all. I want to start by thanking SCBWI and for the judges, and also my agent, Fiona Kenshaw, who took this book on based on a pitch I gave her during a hike. My editor, Virginia Duncan, who believed in this story from the beginning and has cheered me on powerfully. My critique group partners who read chapter after chapter, and my beloved husband, Craig, for all the powerful ways that he supported me as a creator. In 2015, 21 young people ages 8 to 18 filed a lawsuit against the US government for its contributions to climate change called Juliana versus the United States. The next year, one of my kids went down to Eugene, Oregon for the first hearing. I followed the case in the news over the next several years, and my thinking changed from, I'm so glad that young activists have found another way to raise their voices, to wow, the 21 have a really compelling case, and this could make a huge difference on climate change. These 21 young people have the biggest possible goal, saving our planet, and they face an incredibly powerful opponent, the US government. But they have three things on their side: science, the US Constitution, and a small town environmental lawyer named Julia Olson from the nonprofit Our Children's Trust. The case is based on the Fifth Amendment of the US Constitution, which gives us all the right to life, liberty, and property. These young people ask the courts, how can you have life, liberty, and property when you can't breathe? When you're endangered by massive hurricanes, floods, droughts, and wildfires. The US government, from Obama through Trump and now Biden, are fighting the 21 with everything they've got. Why? They do not want this case to go to trial. They do not want public testimony from Jaden Foytlin, who was 13 when climate-driven freak floods in Louisiana stranded her and her siblings in their house with water rising all around them and orangish-brown sludge overflowing from the sinks and toilets and flowing into the hallway. They do not want public testimony from young Levi Draheim, who has been evacuated twice from his Florida home by severe hurricanes kicked up by a warming planet, and whose childhood home will be underwater from sea level rise in his lifetime. They do not want public testimony from Jamie Butler and her mom, who were driven off their native lands by severe drought in Arizona. One of the subjects of this book, Julia Olson, was crying during an interview, and she turned to the interview and said, "Why aren't you all crying?" The government does not want us to know how much they have been actively supporting fossil fuels, despite knowing for more than 50 years how they endanger us all. The government does not want us to be aware of the extent of their complicity, how they actively prop up nearly every aspect of our fossil fuel energy system, permitting mining, drilling, fossil fuel imports and exports, and millions of miles of fossil fuel pipeline. They do not want us to realize that 25% of dangerous carbon emissions in the United States originate from our federal public lands. They do not want courts to think too hard about the fact that the federal government subsidizes fossil fuels to the tune of $20 billion a year. They do not want the world's best scientists and health experts on the record about how the climate crisis endangers young people and threatens the next generation. They do not want engineers and economists testifying under oath that we have everything that we need right now to stop climate change, and that it would cost less than the economic burden that we currently face from extreme floods, droughts, wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, and other weather disasters. The 21 have changed the minds of legal experts who thought this case would go nowhere. They have influenced the minds of judges across the country who have penned dramatic rulings and dissenting opinions that are transforming the legal landscape on climate change. It has been absolutely the honor of my lifetime to share this inspiring, important work of these young people. The 21 are part of a bigger legal movement that is gaining momentum. A similar state-level case brought by our Children's Trust and 16 young people from Montana went to trial this summer. The testimony was stunning, and the youth won. The judge ruled in the kids' favor, saying that they, quote, have a fundamental constitutional right to a clean and healthful environment, which includes climate as a part of the environmental life support system. Another case is going to trial in Hawaii this June. Juliana versus the United States is still ongoing. I think the 21 youth will get their trial, and I think that they will win. I'm going on record right here, right now, saying that these young people and this legal movement is not going away. More cases are coming, and the tide is shifting. When the courts ultimately rule, as they must, that any government support of fossil fuels is unconstitutional, it will be transformational. Getting our government out of the business of supporting fossil fuels would be the biggest step forward that we have ever taken, with the potential to cut dangerous greenhouse emissions by a quarter or more. People are always saying that children are the future, but the future is now. The 21 are showing us the way to end the climate crisis. Our job is to listen to them, believe them, and support them. Thank you.
Congratulations, Liz and Dashka and Michelle and Lisa. Now to present the Golden Kite Award for middle grade text, we have two of our middle grade judges. Award-winning author Rebecca Balcarcel loves popcorn, her kitty, and teaching her students as an associate professor of English at Tarrant County College in Texas. And I'm sure she also loves writing and judging this category. And we also have Sarah Beth Durst, the award-winning author of over 25 books for kids, teens, and adults. Sarah has always believed that books are magic. She says there are these little rectangles with the power to transport you and take you on a new adventure and bring you back completely changed. Welcome, Rebecca and Sarah Beth.
Thank you, Bonnie. Before I introduce the first finalist, I want to say congratulations to all of you. You all wrote absolutely magnificent books. Varian, our third judge, Varian Johnson, Rebecca, and I all loved every single one of them. The Zoom where we picked you all to be finalists was extremely fun because we just got to gush about how fantastic your books are, how you each achieved everything you set out to achieve, whether it was to bring delight or deepen understanding or to encourage empathy. We then spent like the rest of the Zoom like patting ourselves in the back for choosing such excellent finalists. Like seriously, it was unanimous. And if we could give this award to all 5 of you, we would happily do so. We asked and we're told no. But please know that you wrote truly excellent books. And I hope everyone out there listening reads all 5 of them and puts them in the hands of kids because they are really great. Our first finalist for the Golden Kite for middle grade fiction is Between Monsters and Marvels by Alyssa Wishengrad, published by HarperCollins. This book is about what makes a monster. It's a secondary world fantasy adventure about this wonderfully prickly and angry girl named Dare who believes there are still monsters in the world, despite everyone else insisting that there aren't. We loved how unique this book is. It is full of surprises and it features these wonderfully drawn characters in a fully realized world. And it achieves that very difficult goal of creating a fantasy world that is both accessible to non-fantasy readers and completely engrossing to readers who read tons of fantasies. It's interesting, it's exciting, compelling, it's full of heart, and it contains a wonderful message about who the real monsters are. We absolutely loved it.
And the second finalist is A First Time for Everything by Dan Santat. And we fell in love with this book too. The strong storytelling, the relatable main character. It's about the adventures of a middle grader on a journey, a trip to Europe. And the main character is Dan Santat because this is a memoir. And so that made it really fun knowing that this is based in reality, and it even includes end matter that shows photos from his actual trip. And so it was just a rich and fun read. There's skillful graphics and it made us laugh. We also cringed because it's so real and relatable as far as the middle grade experience, all the awkwardness and as well as all the joy. And I just wanted to share it with every middle grader I know. And a third finalist was The Last Year by Catherine Marsh. And I think all of us, when we read this book, just kind of had to sit back and breathe for a second. It's an ambitious book. It has 2 timelines. And when you see the secretive grandmother relating to the very normal, natural grandson who's more interested in gaming than opening these dusty boxes of memories, you know that this is going to be part mystery and part adventure. And of course, it does have the very serious theme or subject of the life under Soviet Ukraine, so in Ukraine under Soviet rule, and the famine that occurred. So there's deep emotion, and it does ask the reader, what does it take to stand up for what's right and for fellow humans?
I am honored to gush about our very next finalist, which is A Snow Day for Plum by Matt Phelan, published by Green Willow Books. This book was hilarious. It is for younger readers and it's filled with adorable illustrations. It is about Plum the peacock and his friends from the Athensville Zoo who go on a trip with their zookeeper to visit an elementary school, but there is a snowstorm and the animals have to stay overnight in the school without any humans, and shenanigans ensue. We love this book so much. It is so difficult to write a book that makes a reader laugh out loud, and it's even more impressive that they've written a book that made me laugh on the reread like 2 or 3 times. I was still laughing. It is filled with these delightful, memorable characters and all these perfect moments. And at the same time, it delivers this beautiful message about courage and bravery in such an incredibly effective and well executed way. The finesse and precision to create such a delightful and insightful book is impressive. We loved it.
And our fifth finalist is Something Like Home by Andrea Beatriz Arango. And I just had to clutch this book to my heart. It gave me all the feels, and I think we all found the main character, Laura, to be charming and frustrating because she is in a tough situation. Her parents are in rehab. She's having to move in with her aunt, who is not like her. They don't mix well. Laura feels she's out of place. And it's exciting when a therapy dog comes on the scene, and suddenly Laura is able to kind of soften and open. And she really discovers how big love can be. At first, she's thinking, it's just my parents and I just want to get back to them. But over time, she grows and expands. I actually blurbed this book and I said, a sparkling gem of a book that will spring open the deepest places in your heart. And I agree with myself. We all really treasured this one. So I'm excited to announce that the honor award goes to A First Time for Everything by Dan Santat. And his charitable award will go to We Need Diverse Books, a nonprofit that advocates essential changes in the publishing industry to promote and produce literature that reflects and honors the lives of young people. Congratulations, Dan.
And I am thrilled to be able to announce the winner of the Golden Kite Award for middle grade fiction. This book is magnificent in both its ambition and its achievement. It conveys historical information, explores important themes, while at the same time, it enhances empathy by telling a truly compelling story about kids who feel incredibly real. Congratulations to Catherine Marsh for The Lost Year.
Oh my gosh.
Catherine
Wow.
will give her charitable award to the World Central Kitchens program Chefs for Ukraine, which supports frontline communities in eastern and southern Ukraine where the need for food is urgent. Congratulations, Catherine. We loved your book.
Thank you to the judges, to my fellow nominees, Alyssa, Dan, Matt, Andrea, and to SCBWI. I attended my first SCBWI nearly 20 years ago, before I had published a single book. I always tell authors and point authors to this marvelous organization. The mentorship and guidance that you provide to all authors has just been magnificent. Speaking of advice to writers, mine is to find a nurturing agent like Alex Glass and fantastic editors like Jennifer Besser and Kate Meltzer, along with the supportive team like the one I've had at Macmillan. Thank you to the storytellers in my family, my parents, Elaine Milosh and Ken Marsh, and especially to my Ukrainian relatives. My grandma, Natalia Ostapchuk Milosh, who helped raise me and had a 4th grade education. She didn't really go past Harlequin books, but I know she would be proud of me today. Nastya Zoltanetsky and her family, and Ruslan Mihal and his. This past year was the 90th anniversary of Holodomor, the man-made famine orchestrated by Joseph Stalin that starved millions of Ukrainian men, women, and children to death. In addition to Ukrainian lives, the Soviet state stole Ukrainian stories. Soviet suppression prevented survivors from sharing what had happened to them with the world. To understand and appreciate why Ukrainians are fighting so hard against Russia now, it's vital to understand not only the brutality they endure today, but this brutal history. To my husband, fellow journalist and rock, Julian E. Barnes, the lost year is also about the vital importance of reporters like you who seek the truth with integrity. Many journalists and truth tellers today are losing their lives in war and conflict zones and under authoritarian regimes. We need to honor them by becoming more critical consumers of information and teaching young people the media literacy skills they need to discern the truth. More than anyone, I wrote this book for my children, Sasha and Natalia. You guys are, as the poet Ben Jonson said of his son, my best work. I love you so much, your curiosity, your compassion, your questions. I wrote The Lost Year to help people like you make sense of a horrible period of history, one in which many of the victims were children. Once again, times are dark. The us versus them thinking Stalin used to dehumanize his victims is everywhere. Children around the world are dying in Ukraine, in the Middle East, on the streets, and in the schools of this country. Children, each and every single one of them, are our best works. To my young readers, I've always found hard truths, but also deep comfort in stories. I hope mine remind you that even in the darkest times, you are not powerless. You can choose decency, kindness, connection, tolerance, hope, and the imagination and humility to know that you are always a work in progress with the ability to evolve. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, and congratulations again, Catherine and Dan. Now to present the Golden Kite Award for Illustrated Book and/or Graphic Novel for older readers, we have two of the judges in this category. Isabel Roxas, whose book Squid Happens won the Golden Kite in this category last year, is an author and an illustrator who loves to draw and write stories about curious misfits, young characters who defy the odds, and funny animals. Raul III is an award-winning artist whose work centers around contemporary Mexican-American experience and his memories of growing up in El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. Welcome, Isabel and Raul.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of my fellow judges, Vikram Madan and Raul III, we'd like to thank SCBWI for the opportunity to read such a broad selection of compelling and beautifully executed graphic novels. Congratulations to the finalists. You made our job exceedingly difficult, but we are so happy to have your books out in the wild, inspiring and touching the lives of young readers. So, the Golden Kite Award finalists for illustrated book and graphic novel for older readers are Curl Friends New in Town, for illustrated and written by Cherie Miller, published by LB Inc. Curl Friends had won us over with its playful style and delightful cast of characters. With a detective's eye, Cherie Miller had captured all the little details needed to recreate the agony and ecstasy of middle school. It is a book I wish I had to guide me through the many challenges of adolescence. Luckily, with much empathy, humor, and pluck, young readers now have Charlie and her girlfriends to guide them and encourage them to embrace their true selves. And this one's from Vikram, who couldn't join us today. The Faint of Heart, illustrated and written by Carolyn Wilson, published by Green Willow Books. After reading The Faint of Heart, the judges were enamored by the beautiful cinematic artwork and the strikingly effective way in which Carolyn Wilson used line and color to tell a tender, mysterious story about how emotions are such a core part of what makes us all human. Our third finalist is A First Time for Everything, illustrated and written by Dan Santat, published by First Second Books. A First Time for Everything is a gorgeous time-traveling experience, carefully observed, beautifully drawn, and so candidly told. With expressive line work, cinematic composition, and emotive coloring, Dan Santad has captured middle school life at its most exciting and heartbreaking.
Our fourth book is A Sky of Paper Stars, illustrated and written by Susie Yee, published by Roaring Brook Press. A Sky of Paper Stars by Susie Yee is an amazingly beautiful and poetic book that perfectly captures the feelings experienced by many immigrants of not belonging in either the country that they've moved to or the country of their origin. The illustrations capture realistic depictions of Korean culture and characters such as Uma and her mom. The illustrations themselves are experimental and magical and seamlessly switch from monochromatic for memories to full color for the present. Susie Yee created a book that teaches readers how to be themselves. Love this book. Next up, Super Boba Cafe, illustrated and written by Nidhi Shanani, published by Abrams Books for Young Readers. Super Boba Cafe is delightful in every way possible, with incredibly expressive cartooning that ranges from super cute. I really wanted to reach in there, you know, and cuddle with the prairie dogs and the kittens. It's hilarious, laugh out loud expressions from Aria and Nene, and very heartwarming. Nidhi has created an incredible book that explores connecting with family, the realization that we grow past tough moments in our lives, and the fun that comes from eating all types of wonderful foods, especially if you're with your grandma. We loved your book so very much. And the honor award for illustrated book graphic novel goes to Nidhi Shanani for Super Boba Cafe. Nidhi will give her charitable award to Children's Book Project, whose goal is to give books to children who need them for equity and literacy, learning, and life.
We are honored to present the winner of the Golden Kite for illustrated book and graphic novel for older readers, Cherie Miller for Girlfriends. Cherie will give her charitable award to Hudson Pride Center, the largest LGBTQ plus social services center in Jersey that offers a variety of free services to support, affirm, and connect their community to each other and the services they need. Congratulations, and over to you, Cherie.
I'm still in shock. Are you serious right now? I want to thank, of course, all of my all the other nominees. I'm so honored to be one of the ones selected to even be nominated for this category, let alone winning it, which I'm very shocked. I can't believe it. This is my first graphic novel ever that I've published, and it really came from a place of healing and wanting to make a positive and I think inspiring story for middle graders growing up today. I feel like when I was growing up, all stories were filled with struggle, and I really wanted to highlight the joy and, you know, anticipation of being in middle school and dealing with anxiety, but also coming out the other end, learning more about yourself. So I want to thank my agent, Monica Odom, everyone at Little Brown, my editor, Andrea Colvin, and Nikki Garcia. I'm so honored. I love SCBWI. I've been a member ever since I graduated from college. I've gained so much from every event that I've gone to, every conference, and everyone I get to meet and learn from. So thank you so much. I have nothing else to say. I'm at loss for words.
Thank you, and congratulations again, Cherie and Nidhi. Now to present our final Golden Kite Award, the award for young adult fiction, we have two members of the YA judging panel. Betty Cully is the award-winning author of young adult and middle grade novels. She's also an RN who worked as an obstetric nurse and as a pediatric home hospice nurse. And we have Kelly McWilliams, whose book, Agnes at the End of the World, was a Golden Kite finalist from 2022. A piece of advice that Kelly has for other writers, which I just love, is keep on keeping on. No one else can tell the story you will. Welcome, Betty and Kelly.
Thank you so much. We had such a wonderful time judging this award. And so we'd like to introduce the finalists. I will say that every single one of these books touches on what it means to be a young person in difficult times and what bravery is required to do the right thing in a world that grows more complex by the day. It also took bravery to write these books in a time of rampant book banning across our country. And I'd really love to quickly shout out the hard work of SCBWI, PEN America, and projects like the Texas Freedom to Read that so need our activism and our attention. So our first finalist is Alondra by Gina Femia. Alondra plunges us into the richly detailed neighborhood in Coney Island, New York, where a ragtag team of aspiring pro wrestlers work together to put on one unforgettable show. This is a story about what it means to harness our innermost courage, a story that illuminates how we all might nurture the fearless, masked alter egos living inside us, boldly demanding their turn in the ring.
The next book is The Blood Years by Alana K. Arnold, and it's a beautifully written novel and a powerful story of sisterhood, love, tragedy, and betrayal. It depicts a Jewish Romanian girl and her family as they try to survive both the Soviet and Nazi occupations. It's also a book that really speaks to our humanity. And the next book, Gloria Buenrostro is Not My Girlfriend by Brandon Wong, has a lot of humor and funny moments in it. It also has important and moving themes of true friendship, loneliness, and coming of age. The main character, Gary, has a great heart and real integrity, and it was a pleasure to follow his journey throughout the book.
Our next finalist is This Town is on Fire by Pamela N. Harris. After a young woman's best friend goes viral for calling the cops on two Black teens, this expertly crafted YA novel charts the explosive ripple effects that racism and acts of injustice have on our friendships, our communities, and our world. A moving meditation on the wonders and pitfalls of allyship, and a Dickensian exploration of teenage life in the social media age, this novel never once flinches. Next, we have Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angeline Bully. On this continent, not all histories are valued equally or valued at all. Warrior Girl Unearthed is a sweeping contemporary epic about a young woman's struggle to reclaim the robbed bodies of her ancestors from the clutches of an unscrupulous museum, and the haunting, all too familiar story of Indigenous women gone missing from their small community. This powerful novel demands to know why some bodies are privileged and kept safe, while others must fight for the right to be seen as sacred and worthy of saving. Our Golden Kite Honor Award for Young Adult Fiction goes to This Town is on Fire by Pamela N. Harris. Pam will give her award to the Virginia Down Syndrome Association, a community of individuals with Down syndrome, their family members, friends, and professionals, all committed to creating a community where individuals with Down syndrome are valued for their unique abilities and differences. The Golden Kite Award for Young Adult Fiction goes to Alana K. Arnold for The Blood Years. Alana will give her charitable award to Planned Parenthood, a nonprofit organization that provides reproductive and sexual health care and sexual education in the United States and globally. And now, Alana will say a few words.
Thank you so much. Thank you to SCBWI and to the Golden Kite judges. It's such a thrill to be accepting this award amongst such a beautiful slate of other writers and other books. I'm so grateful. Deep thanks also to my editor, Jordan Brown, and the whole team at Balzer and Bray. as well as Ruben Pfeffer and Sarah Crow, and my dear sisters and friends, especially Ruth Glassberg Gold, all of whom listened to me talk about this book and read many drafts over many years. The Blood Years has been many things to me. It's been a quest, a mission, a passion, a challenge, a frustration, and a triumph. Most of all, it's been a sacred honor to transform and incorporate what I knew of my grandmother's years in Czernowitz, Romania, into a lasting document and a piece of art. I know how much she would have valued that. My job as a writer of fiction is to tell a good story. But as I set to work crafting The Blood Years, I knew that with this book, I had the duty and the privilege of telling the emotional truth of a terrible time while honoring and respecting the real people who suffered, endured, and often perished during the Holocaust. I needed to find a way not to sensationalize real pain in service of my fiction, while still crafting a fictional narrative to string together what I knew about the teenage years of the real Frida Teitler, my grandmother. The younger of two sisters, my Nena, really was born to take care of the firstborn, her older sister Astrid. But what I remember most of all is the care she took of me. My Nana understood what a deep privilege it is to care for, love, and protect a child. She did so in part by making me matzo ball soup and singing me to sleep with Schlafe ein, but even more so by knowing and treating me as a whole person, even when I was very young. She loved me. She respected me. She did not conflate ignorance with innocence. She always told me the truth when I asked for it, and never limited my access to books or knowledge of any kind. I'm the human and the writer I am because of my Nena. It has been my privilege to bear witness to her life, even the ugly and gruesome parts. In her honor, I will continue to do my best to build our world with love, and I hope each of you will as well. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Ilana and Pam. And also, this is it. Congratulations to all of our finalists, all of our honorees, and all of our winners. This was a fantastic experience. I loved working with all the judges and all of you authors. And have an amazing night and go out and buy all the books.